when the Justice Ministry confirms that it has sent a report about the alleged planned assassination of a deputy judge president in the Western Cape, allegedly on the orders of the sitting judge president of that province, John Hlophe, in that it provokes security agencies, or rather that it wanted security agents to investigate the matter, then we should all be alarmed. Coupled with widespread state capture of sections of the police, the NPA and other institutions within the criminal justice system during the state capture years, it raises alarm bells about the health of our constitutional democracy and whether we are in danger of becoming a lawless country. To talk to us about the health of our criminal justice system, I'm joined now from or via Skype by the Justice Minister Ronald Lamola. Minister, thank you so much for joining us. I need to just quickly divert. I'm not sure if you were aware of the fact that I had the spokesperson for the Minister of Defence on the fix, and he says that the Minister of Defence decided it was in the national interest of South Africa to give civilians of the African National Congress a lift in a security, or rather in an Air Force jet to Harare. You, the Minister of Justice, is that allowed, sir? Is that legal?
No, Karima, I'm not going to second guess my colleagues and enter into that space, because as you are aware, the President is still going to receive a report, and I'm not sure whether he has received it or not, and what is the reasoning and all that. So I'm not in a position to respond to that. I think the Minister of Defence is in a better position to respond, or the Office of the President.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, Minister Lamola. In terms of my understanding of the lockdown regulations, you sit on the National Command Centre. The borders are closed for international travel for civilians and for ordinary South Africans. Is that correct, sir? Can you confirm that?
Yes, it is.
So if that is true, if civilians like Mr. Magashule, Mr. Tony Ngeni, Mr. Enoch Godongwana, Mr. Lukhweti from the ANC, if they are ordinary members of the public, how is it that they were able to break the lockdown regulations, fly to another country on the African continent, and they face no consequences, sir?
Yeah, if you read the regulations, Karima, you will see that there's an exception where the Minister of Home Affairs could provide some kind of exemption. So in this case, I don't know whether it happened or not. So hence I've said I'm not in a position to comment on the matter, because I'm not informed. I don't have the information of the matter.
Okay.
You're placing me in a difficult position to answer things that are not within my knowledge or within my purview.
Okay.
But if I knew whether... But if you look at the regulations, there are exemptions. Even when the international travel is closed, there are exemptions which could be granted. But I'm not in a position to state whether in this case it has been granted or not, because I don't have the personal knowledge of the matter and the information before
okay.
you now.
Mr. Lamola, thank you so much. Obviously, I am duty-bound to ask you, as the Justice Minister, you're the political head of the criminal justice system in our country. As we understand it, there's a huge outcry from the population. Several opposition parties are wanting an inquiry into this matter. And so I am obviously bound to ask you about that. You are the second minister now that's refusing to comment on this. The Transport Minister, Fikile Mbalula, said exactly the same. It is concerning, I must say to you, Minister of Justice, that two cabinet ministers do not want to speak on the Defence Force Minister's decision to give members of the governing party who should ordinarily... Mr. Lamola, can I finish my question or my comment?
Also allow me to respond to that. I'm not refusing anything. I'm just saying, as you have heard, I've responded to your question by saying this is not within my personal knowledge.
Yes.
And even if you are a Minister of Justice, you need to have facts and reports in front of you. You cannot just comment out of your common sense. You need to know what happened and how it was done. So if you don't know, you will not want, it's not possible that you can comment. And I think the President has requested a report which has been provided, I hope at some stage the country will be taken into confidence as to exactly what happened. It's only then that others may be able to comment. But if you don't have facts and the information before you, you can't comment on information that you don't have. It must be an informed comment to the country.
Yeah, Mr. Lamola, I agree with you that you can't comment on things that you don't know anything about, but you are responsible politically for the rule of law in South Africa. We have a disaster management set of regulations which have been renewed till the 15th of October, so it is obviously important for me to ask what the regulations allow and don't allow. You've just said to us now, for example, that Home Affairs can make exceptions. No, I'm not ambushing you. No, I'm not.
You don't ambush me, madam.
No,
you are.
No, I'm not ambushing you, sir. I am basically.
No, you are, because you invited me to the show on the issues that relate to the criminal justice and the issues of the judge, which I am prepared for.
Yes,
yourself, when you introduced the issue, you just said you are now diverting from what you put.
No, so the interview is not finished.
So
I will get to the question.
Even if we are running government, we need to be informed. We need to look at the facts. We need to look at the law. I can't just come without looking at the facts and the law and comment on something that I have not properly researched, I have not properly considered myself.
Okay, so Minister of Justice.
I think it's unfair for you to expect me to comment on things
no,
I've not...
It's never unfair. It's never unfair for a representative of Cabinet to explain to the country what the rule of law is. These questions are related. Exactly. So it's not unfair. I'm doing my job, sir. Let's get on with the interview. Minister Lamola, when are you getting a report? No, Minister Lamola. I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job, sir. I'm asking you about the rule of law.
You're doing your job. That's why I came here. I have availed myself to respond to any question.
So let's not talk about
But don't force me to answer a question you did not prepare me for. No,
I'm not forcing you, sir. I have every right to ask you a question. That is how the media works.
Hence, I've responded to your question.
Okay, so let's get on with the interview. You have your spokesperson, Kristen Piri, said in the Daily Maverick to request to explain what your understanding is about this alleged threat against the life of the Deputy Judge President in the Western Cape. It has been referred to the security agencies. Does that mean that it is a credible threat, given that the Deputy Judge President's security has also been upped by the Chief Justice?
No, it does not mean it's a credible fact. What it means is that we have received the report from JICS, which we cannot ignore. And on the basis of the fact that we can't ignore, we do not have the capacity to investigate what is contained in the report, which has unfortunately been leaked into the public domain, because issues of investigations should be handled internally. There should be sensitivity around that. But somehow, the report has been leaked into the public domain, which is causing confusion and is also causing serious consternation in society. So we have received the report, and upon perusal of the report, we realized that we do not have the capacity to determine whether this is credible or is not credible, or what action could be taken. And we realized that this issue belongs to law enforcement agency, because there is an alleged criminality that could have occurred and so forth. So hence we have referred the matter to the relevant authorities who will be able to then do an investigation and then come back to us to say, this is the finding, and if there is anything that could be done, what is it, and whatever that they be recommended, we can then take it from there.
Do you think, sir, that it is proper for the Judge President to remain in his position while this investigation continues?
Yeah, at this stage, Karima, there's nothing of basis that can make us to make an informed judgment in terms of whether it is proper or not proper, because that is a judgment or a consideration that will have to be made by the Judicial Service Commission. And as you are aware, they have also not yet received this kind of an investigation outcome. What they have is what the JICS has investigated. I think it will be fair for them to comment when they've now received an investigation coming from the police in terms of this issue, or if there is any action that is taken. Then you will be able to respond, because as we speak up to now, we really don't know whether this is credible or it is not credible. And for example, myself as a minister, of which also responsible for correctional services, I receive a lot of reports from prisoners and inmates, which sometimes prove to be credible, sometimes they prove not to be credible. So it's difficult in this space to really determine at face value whether something is credible or not until it has been thoroughly interrogated by the law enforcement agencies.
Okay, Minister, hold that thought. We need to take a short break. When we come back, we talk about the implications when senior judges on the bench seemingly are at war with each other. Don't go anywhere.